So this is what Australia's got to come to. We're trying to rebuild our community. Tricky and I agree on this. This is all about community, Tricky, isn't it? It's completely about building 100%. A solid, resilient 100%. Community. Yeah, and this is why I'm happy. Political as it needs to be. Go on.
And this is the silver lining, guys. You know, this flood, especially in northern New South Wales, has shown us the government do not care to help us. Okay, we have $45 billion, not million, $45 billion a year to the defence budget. But they can't even come down and rescue our own people off rooftops. We've got families stuck on rooftops for 19 hours with babies. Mum can't breastfeed the babies and they've got no formula. Okay, and they're stuck on this roof. $45 billion and we can't send a helicopter with our army to pick these guys up. It's an effing disgrace. This should piss off every single Australian in this country. It should make people angry.
Yeah.
Okay, we had this was the people rescuing the people. Without that, the death toll would have been 10 times higher. The SES weren't even turning up in big numbers because they had mandates. We said, if you're not fully vaccinated, you can't go rescue your brothers and sisters. So we had the occasional SES guy jumping in a civilian tinny to go make rescues. We're not a third world country. We have a lot of money, and this is what it's turning into in this country. It infuriates me. I haven't been agitated in a long time, but this flood has given me a lot of anger. And, you know, it's controlled anger that's driving my passion. But people need to realise what this country is turning into very quickly. We need to start banding together. Like Graham said, building these communities. It is all about communities. If we have strong communities that we control our own lives, and nobody else can control our lives. We're in control. So we start building them. We start growing our own food. We start trading. We start keeping the money within our communities for now, and coming up with these different schemes. That the People's Revolution has an awesome platform for building communities. I don't care if you do it under TPR, whatever banner you want to do it, but use that platform. It's all there to be used. And start making these groups within your communities and start building them. We need to start building it now. So when the future generations are growing, we've created this environment where our communities are powerful, we're independent, and we control our own lives. That's what we need to start aiming for.
That's absolutely right. Now, working with the military on the ground over the last week, we've been there 7 days. And yeah, a lot of people are commenting, well, I'm looking a bit done. I feel done, but so what, you know, I'll get some rest later. The thing about the military was for the first few days, they were marching around and they had no direction. And you know who started directing the military? It was the people. We were telling them what we need them to do and they responded and reacted. Wow. So, and now we've got a really great working relationship with them. They have been fantastic in the last 2 days at Corokai. Nothing sinister going on there. They've been just a whole bunch of young guys really working hard with the community to build something better. So it just takes time to get this stuff going. But the people shouldn't have to do that. We have governments and NGOs to do that. Somebody's saying stop bagging out the Red Cross. Last night, John and I mentioned the Red Cross once. We talked about how much money they got for the fires and how much they spent on the people. So tough luck if you don't like that. We've got to hold these organisations to account. We've got to hold the bureaucrats to account. We've got to hold the government to account. So that's it. So I'd love to get over.
It wasn't just the Red Cross. It was St. Vincent's. Sorry, it's the delay. St. Vinny's,
Red Cross.
It wasn't just the Red Cross. It was St. Vincent's and these other things, you know. You know, they received large sums of money, and only a small portion of that money went to the bushfire victims. Where's that money going? And now they're getting more donations. Come on, guys. These so-called charities, it's a facade. We're better off supplying the money to our own people to do these actions. Keep it within the communities, and communities can distribute it where it needs to go.
Yeah, look, people are donating so much stuff. They're paying for it out of their own pocket, and they've got no money because of the mandates. Most of the gear on the ground has come from people who've been mandated into oblivion. That's true, because Hoody's helpers are all people who have been mandated out of their jobs, hundreds of thousands of them, and they're supplying the goods, they're donating the cash, and they're participating on the ground with the people who, they don't care whether they've been jabbed or not, they're on the ground, they're doing the work that the governments have come in and looked and said, wow, what's going on here? The bureaucrats have come in and said, what sort of organisation is this? It's a people's organisation. We can't rely on government anymore, people. We have to be honest about that, and we have to do what we've got to do. So I've got to go, Tricky, but we're going to come to Queensland, and we'll get there as quick as we can.
Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah, just before we go, Graham, I want to say I'm not having a shot at the army here. This is not the fault of the army. It's a fault of the decision makers, okay? AKA the government. They're the ones that should have sent these people. They knew where it was going to flood. They have professionals. They have experts watching that water flow. They know where it's going to happen. Lismore floods all the time. They should have had the army on standby, ready to go, with boats, helicopters ready to make rescues. There was nothing getting done. People need to be held accountable for this. And like I said, guys, it has to get worse before it gets better. And this is the start of it getting a whole lot worse. So buckle up, build your community, and get ready for action, and start to make sacrifices now. If we don't start making sacrifices, it's going to take a lot longer. It's going to be a lot harder. So everybody has to really start getting involved now.
Yeah, great stuff. Look, most of the helicopters that have been flying are civilian, and they've been paid for by private donors. The helicopters, multi-thousands of dollars are being spent flying helicopters, flying in stock food, flying in food supplies to stranded people, all paid for by the people, not the government. It's all been from money raised by concerned individuals. Yep. So, we'll see you there.
One more very important thing. One more very important thing. Like I said before, this would anger every single Australian if they knew what was happening in northern New South Wales. They're finding cars with families in the cars, they're dead. They're finding hotel rooms with dead bodies in it. The death toll is a lot higher than what we're being told. Now, this won't anger many Australians because they don't hear about it. They're watching the mainstream media. So what I'm going to say is this. All the very wealthy people in this country need to start putting their money where their mouth is. They need to start organising radio stations and TV stations and putting up billboards and getting the real messages out to the real people so we can have a turnaround in this country very, very quickly. Otherwise, things are going to get a lot worse than what they have to. People with resources need to start using it and stop being selfish.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, John Larder spoke to the mayor of the Richmond Valley Council. He was there for the Governor General today, and he asked John, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm a paramedic. I just got fired this week because of the mandate and everything." He said, "Oh, don't bring that stuff into here. We're not interested in all your problems." Basically, that's what he was saying. And I looked for him to tell him later on, and he ducked away from me. I looked to tell him, well, okay, if you're not interested in our problems, we'll pull all our people off the flood ground and see how many volunteers you got left. The people you're saying you're not interested in are here doing your dirty work for you. I mean, it just disgusts me. I'm just completely over it. You know, the people on the ground
shouldn't be
are
surprised.
so grateful. Well, that's right. It's just blatant ignorance, absolute ignorance on behalf of the mayor of Richmond Valley Council. And anyway, let's not go there. We can talk about all that from the soundstage.
Yeah. Just to recap then, guys, there's been a development. We have to bring our action forward in Brisbane a day. So we're requesting people get to Musgrave Park in South Brisbane at 4 p.m. on Sunday the 13th. We'll set up camp. We'll have the opening ceremony with the blessings of the elders. We'll welcome people in and we'll discuss the plan going forward. Monday morning, we're going to march to Parliment. Around about at this stage, I'll give proper details later. Around about, maybe 9 a.m. we're going to start the march, but we'll discuss that later. So, guys, do what you have to do. I know you probably already had plans, but do what you can to change them and get to Musgrave Park on Sunday.
Sounds good, Tricky. Good talking to you, buddy.
You too, brother. We'll catch up soon, eh?
Yeah, we'll see you there, bud.
All right, see you guys. All right, mate. We'll talk soon.
God bless everybody. Remember, keep it peaceful. We have to keep